So, and the world is changing in all directions. And at this pivotal moment to take down CCP, the overseas Chinese should come forward to make this change. And we must wake up not only our fellow Chinese, but also Europeans. Many of them have no idea of the danger of this CCP virus. They are even misled by the information regarding the origin of the virus in academia and media, which took sides with CCP. Dr. Yan told us the truth and lighted the way in front of us, and we should follow her and spread the truth to the world.
So one of the things that you talked to me about when we were on the phone earlier discussing this stuff was how difficult it is even inside Germany, particularly because it seems that the German people kind of have blinders on. They don't understand the danger of Huawei. Obviously, they have a significant exposure because of their machine tool exports to China. But what would you say if you had to tell your fellow Germans, what is it that they need to understand about the danger of the CCP?
I think because they are just misled by the disinformation from CCP, and because some of the German companies, they have shared interest in CCP. And for the common people, I think they have some rosy imagination of China, and they can use this to deceive themselves to follow CCP's propaganda. And that's why we have to go to the streets and we share the truth with the people. I think if there is a global deep state like the coalition between CCP and the Germany, so the common people should stand up to use the populism to counter their plan. And in Germany, that the people have no idea of the danger of the CCP and also this kind of coronavirus. So we need to tell the people where it comes from, how dangerous it is.
Hey, Hey, Jack, let me jump in here for a second. Hang on for a second. Hey, Andreas, let me just jump in for a second, Jack. This is let me make sure the audience understands this. The protests and what we're here today, particularly in the first hour, we're going to get to Miles Go in the second, but we're talking about these expatriate Chinese, these defectors or people that have gone to the outside world that are now coming together and bonding together under this umbrella of either the whistleblower movement or of the new federal state of China, where they're saying, hey, there is an alternative to the Chinese Communist Party. Remember, for too many years, one of the ways the Chinese Communist Party held power was that the elites throughout the world, the party of Davos, and whether that was in the city of London or on Wall Street, corporate America, they kept saying, hey, the business model works. We can lose the slave labor in China, and that you got to deal with the CCP, because if the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, was ever to go, China would devolve into anarchy, into chaos, that it would return to the warlordism of the 1920s and 1930s when China was disunited and chaotic. And so they've always pointed to that, hey, you, the world, particularly since we drive so much of the manufacturing, you need us. We're kind of the caretakers because the Chinese people are just too barbaric, too uneducated, too unruly, too undemocratic to actually have their own, to be able to handle freedom and to handle democracy, to be able to live under the rule of law. Now, obviously in Hong Kong and particularly in Taiwan, that puts it to a lie. But Andreas, as these free Chinese now throughout the world are coming together and had this protest over the weekend, it started a couple of weeks ago in Washington, D.C. with the protests at the Chinese embassy. And then over at the White House, Jack Maxey was there live recording interviews all day. Some of the politest, nicest people we've seen, whereas protesters in the United States are spitting on police officers and throwing batteries at them, throwing rocks at them. These people were, giving them water, making sure they were okay, thanking them for being there and protecting them. How did you end up from Germany? Because I think the protest, the big one, and one of the big ones in Europe was actually in Paris. How did you hear about it? And then what motivated you to go all the way from Germany to Paris to participate in this?
Because we are in a large group which is in the Voice of Himalaya in Europe. So we come together to Paris, and we want to show the world that we are the new Chinese, and CCP's propaganda against the new federal state of China is wrong. Our actions speak for ourselves. We are the true patriots. And the protest last week showed the world that we are the new Chinese with bravery and glory, and only the truth will prevail, not their propaganda.
Why do you say that you're the new Chinese? Why do you say that you're a Chinese patriot? The CCP would say, no, you've betrayed your country. We're the nation. The CCP keeps China strong. The CCP keeps China relevant in the world. That it's people like you and people in this whistleblower movement that are really betraying your country. Why do you say you're the new China? And why do you call yourself a Chinese patriot?
Because we took the non-violent protest, and we didn't want to subvert the state. It is propaganda. It's wrong. No, we love our country, but our country is dominated by these gangsters, by these communist gangsters. So we need to speak to the world that we are the true Chinese. We are not communists. We are the common people. We are the 老百姓. We are the grassroots.